Jamie, start of the week. Who we starting?
Trevor Lawrence. Really excited about his opportunity coming off what you could say is maybe his best game of his career when he threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, led the comeback victory against the Ravens, 30 fantasy points, back-to-back games with 24 fantasy points, taking on a Lions team that allows the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks in a row, over 26 fantasy points. I think Trevor Lawrence is in a good spot right now, and it's going to be interesting to see. I asked Heath, I think it was Heath and Dave maybe, this question the other day. Of the 4-7 teams in the AFC, who is the most likely to make the playoffs, if any of them do? And I believe I have the names correctly. It's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Raiders. Maybe one more?
I
think that might be it.
Okay. So 4-7 teams, you said?
4-7 teams in the AFC.
Okay, that would be, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis. Jacksonville, and the Raiders.
Yeah.
Who's most likely?
We didn't say Indianapolis because I think they're actually 4-6-1, right?
No, they're 4-7-1. They have another
4-7-1. Okay,
my bad. Yeah. They're not 4-7. I'd say Cleveland.
Yeah.
With Deshaun Watson.
Cleveland feels the most likely, but I'll tell you what, Jacksonville looks like their offense could be dangerous if this continues for him.
Yeah. Well, they gotta win this game. They're not gonna win the division, like I said, but they gotta go get this win. Heath, who do you love? Heath? What happened? You can't hear him. How can he not hear me? He's moving. Hi, Heath. Jamie, you hear me?
I hear you.
I was frozen, man.
You were frozen. That was the weird thing. You were frozen on your
guys
end.
were frozen on my screen. I apologize. I assumed I was.
No, that was great. Who do you love, Heath?
I'm glad I could bring a little bit of humor this morning without even knowing I was doing anything. More and more, I love Garrett Wilson this week. And we talked about earlier in the week, is he a top 20 wide receiver rest of season? And when we have those debates, I'm always interested when I go through the projections process, is going to be a top 20 wide receiver for that week. And he's actually pretty close to a top 15 wide receiver for me. I love this matchup against Minnesota because it has the 3 facets of what the Jets seem to need to have a good passing game. First off, they are much better against the run than they are against the pass. That's 2 things. And then they're going to score a bunch of points because they have a good offense, I expect. So I do think this is a game where we see 35 plus pass attempts from the Jets. And the way that Mike White targeted Garrett Wilson, I think you should expect maybe 10 of those passes to go to Wilson, which could make him a top 12 wide receiver this week.
The only thing I would disagree with, I think it'll be a good game for Garrett Wilson. I don't think the Vikings are scoring a lot of points. This Jets defense is fantastic. And so I think Cousins, I'll just say this is the player I don't like this week. Cousins, I don't think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to not get his second touchdown. He'll have some yards, but this Jets defense has proven to be very tough to move the ball on. And I think we'll see it be a frustrating game for Cousins, even though it's the right setup for him. Although after he performed well in prime time last week, I don't know if there's a wrong setup for him anymore. But in any event, this has nothing to do with Wilson. I just think that the Vikings offense, they've been bad running the ball. Jets run defense has been great. And I don't think we're going to get the multiple touchdown game from Cousins this week.
Yeah, it's weird. If not for that Bills game where the Jets did a great job against the Bills and Josh Allen was not hurt in that game, not until the second to last play. If not for that game, I really think I could look at the Jets schedule and give you who have they played? And I do believe in their defense, but this is going to be one of the better offenses they've faced so far. They've faced they faced Skylar Thompson when they faced the Dolphins. You know, they've had a pretty favorable quarterback schedule, I guess. But all that said, okay, here's the stat of the game I had for that game since we're talking about it. The Jets have allowed 3 touchdown passes in their last 8 games. That is insane. But who have they faced? Pittsburgh quarterbacks, both of them. Skylar Thompson, Aaron Rodgers, that was good. Brett Rippon, Mac Jones twice, Josh Allen, and Trevor Siemian. So I'm very intrigued to see what the Vikings can do. And I know the Jets have a good defense. You can't fake it for that long. The question is, do they have an elite defense, I guess? Maybe we'll try to find out in this game. All right, so we're starting Lawrence and Wilson. Jamie says he's avoiding Kirk Cousins. How about you, Heath? Who are you avoiding this week?
I'd like to avoid Dameon Pierce. It's a great matchup against the Browns, and there's a lot of uncertainty outside of the top 18 or 19 running backs this week, so it's hard to rank Pierce too low. But he has absolutely no floor at all right now, and I'm not sure he has very much upside either. The teams are just stacking the box against the Texans, saying, prove you can beat us with the pass, and you know what? The Texans can't beat them with the pass. So I think there's a possibility he could give you a 25 total yard game with no scores. I'd like to get away from Pierce if I can, still have him ranked as a high-end flex.
I wonder, though, if this is like the Texans Super Bowl. Like we're going to do whatever we can to win this game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
You just, they don't want to win. I mean, that's painfully obvious. They do not want to win. They want that number one overall pick to control, I think, their choices of what they have. And clearly quarterback is got to be a priority. But it just feels like if there's ever a game to sell out for, this could be the one.
Yeah, that's what Dave was talking about yesterday. There's just a lot of buzz about the game in Texas. And the good news is, what'd you say? Well, he was saying, because he was talking to his dad and, who lives there, and it was a nice little personal story. But even if the Texans do win, they still have, they're 1-9-1. There's no team with fewer than 3 wins other than the Texans. So they can win this game and still preserve the Bryce Young.
Oh, I don't think they'll win. I think they actually might try, though, which is something they haven't seemed to be doing in quite a while.
Yeah. Okay. So does anybody have Dameon Pierce in their top 20 this week?
He's close for me. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with Heath. I think it's tough to trust, but it's a great matchup. It feels like it's a pretty decent situation. Rex Burkhead is in the concussion protocol, so one less guy to take him off the field for however many snaps that he may come off the field. So, yeah, I don't mind Dameon Pierce, but I'm certainly nervous about it.
Okay. Would you start real quick? I'll finish on that. Pierce or whoever the Steelers starting running back is?
I go Warren over Pierce in PPR and Pierce over Warren in 9.
Heath?
Right now, I think I have Pierce over the Steelers backs, but I would like to have Warren over Pierce. I may just make that change.